Get them fired up and get them to the staging lanes, baby, because 8th Mile Apparel is now carrying Going Bracket Racing merch. Hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and much more can be yours today by visiting 8thmileapparel.com. We appreciate each and every one of you guys supporting the Going Bracket Racing YouTube and Facebook pages.
What's up, everybody? What is up, everybody? I'm already starting this thing off rusty. November 11th, 2025, episode 213 of the Going Bracket Racing Live podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all kinds of other podcast platforms that I can't even remember. But you can find us anywhere you want. Look at this collectible item. We'll talk about that a little bit later. This is a collectible now. This is historic.
Oh.
But we got to thank those people that bring this to you live every single week. Well, not last week, but most weeks, almost all of them. TSR Racing Products, Power Glides, Turbo 350s, 727s. We know they're all worn out over there. You need to call and get you some TSR Racing Products and get those transmissions freshened up. If I didn't say Turbo 400s, obviously they have that stuff too. BRG 3D printed parts, anything you're thinking up for the winter, anything you got fancy that you want to get fancier. BRG 3D printed parts can custom print you anything you need for your race car, any sort of weird gauge pods you need, any sort of delay box mounts, basically anything you can think of. BRG can make something happen for you. Give them a call. Syntex Printing out there in Temple, Texas. Stickers, shirts, brochures, anything you need for PRI coming up pretty soon. Call Syntex Printing, get that stuff out there so you can promote your business properly. Driven Racing Oil. They got some of that oil even for you hunters out there, if you know what I'm talking about. But they also have engine oil, best in the game, especially if you're running methanol. Transmission oil, they got, gear oil. I was using that rear end oil, using some of that stuff. And you can use code GBR10 to get yourself 10% off anything you would buy. They also have cleaning products, and they work great, especially whenever you park those trailers under those trees all summer long. Now we're in the temperatures where it's not so big of a deal to scrub that stuff off. Use some of that speed clean and use the code GBR10 and get yourself 10% off your order. Proformparts.com. They get everything you need from shop tools, carburetor starters, alternators. I was using all kinds of their tools this week, getting the 555 out of the Chevelle, getting ready to freshen it up for the following season. And then we had a couple other things go on where now I'm going to run a 540 next season. So how did I go backwards, you say? We'll get into that in the show a little while later. Crew Chief Pro software, you need some of that, especially if you're getting ready to go down to Immokalee and race all winter long in Florida, seemingly, week after week after week. They got that race going down there again. Well, multiple races. Crew Chief Pro software will get you dialed in from 20 degrees to 100 degrees, because you never know what it's going to be this time of year in Florida. But Crew Chief Pro software does. So go over to crewchiefpro.com and get you a set of that. Gearhead Solutions, everything's worn out, can't find it anywhere else. Go to gearheadsolutions.com. They got access to every single vendor you can find elsewhere. Thousands and thousands and thousands of vendors, and usually he can get stuff to you in a couple days, sometimes one day. And usually the prices are better than everywhere else. So call Gearhead Solutions and get your stuff coming to your front door. And of course, Mid-State Dragway in Havana, Illinois. I'm interested to see what they got going on in 2026, man, because they had a great 2025, and I can't imagine that it's going backwards. We're only going forwards over there at Mid-State Dragway. It was the best year they ever had up there. They're adding more and more pit area space, better places to park. They're always improving the track. I can't wait to see the flyer. What else what have I missed, George? I don't even know. Where are we at on this?
I don't think you've missed anything, man, but you said it. They're going forward, Mid-State Dragway. Little birdie on the wall. Might have told me a few things or may have didn't omit anything. Let's just put it that way. So I know what's going on out there at Mid-State, and I'm not going to drop anything. So be on the lookout right here on Going Bracket Racing as the schedules begin to come out for that racetrack. Heck of a job to the team out there at Mid-State, from the concession stands to the track crew to the people with the brain power behind putting these races on. I'm going to say it like I say it every time, Casey. We definitely need to have those 10s or 5s or whatever the case. If we can come close to what they're doing, it needs to be at every track that offers bracket racing, because you will build a following just based on that race. So you don't know what I'm talking about, just look at the screen. Casey's got the flyer right behind it. I'm pretty sure you can just copy it. Yeah.
Dad's here right now. He came out here for this NHRA race that we just were at literally all week. As you well know, because you called me about 15 times and I never answered the phone. So I'm like, dude, I'm busy, man. I got stuff going on. I'm watching these races. You're on your own over there. I'm watching Top Fuel Cars, man. You're on your own.
Phone.
But yeah, Dad was saying actually a little while earlier, we were talking about some stuff. We were bringing some stuff to a machine shop, and he said he plans on participating in all of those races next year. So obviously we got one entry at least that's hoping Mid-State keeps on keeping on, and I know they will.
Yeah, and plus my dad was here last week, maybe 2 weeks ago. I can't. Time flies. Out at the Pennington race and doing his thing in the truck, which was a old pile of. We'll just leave it PG. It was a pile. That's what it was. And so old Mo's already getting taken apart. Going to head over to Mr. Veals for a fresh job on old motor and get the transmission looked at too, man. But yeah, Casey, we're at that time of year where everything seems to fall apart, man. And my garage door was broke just a little bit ago. I got to shout out Winston Garage and their tech Jason coming out fixing my garage, man, and getting us taken care of real quick. I don't have to hear my wife tell me that her car can't go in the garage. I did enjoy it for that little split second because, like I said, Mo's getting taken apart, so I had parts everywhere on the floor. Tools, hood, a light, 2 different stools, a cover, brake pads, new brake pads. Man, I had everything in the floor. That felt good, man. So I need to get me a shop, Casey, if you know what I mean. And we'll talk about that later. But
yeah,
shout out Winston Garage.
I got to shout out Quez over here because I literally sent him a video of this on October 31st at 9:48 a.m. and he just texted me back. By the way, guys, what does it say? It's November 11th at 5:38 p.m. and he says, back on schedule, texting Casey during the pod. And that's pretty much how he goes.
Shout out Aaron Hill. Good evening. Hey, definitely Mr. Bones. I think that's Mr. T Bones up in here. Reggie Litch with a great win. Sarge. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, I got you, Sarge. Hey, Reggie, good job, man. And we appreciate you very much for doing that with a GBR shirt across your chest, man. That's real nice of you. We definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Aaron Hill, appreciate that as well. Man, who was I? Oh, yeah. This guy that nobody's ever heard of here on GBR, Monday Morning Racer. Saw him this weekend at NHRA. It was really cool to be able to catch up with him out there doing some great media work as always. Monday Morning Racer getting bigger and bigger and bigger. He's leaving us in the dust, George. We got to catch up.
Tell me about it. And shout out to him on his way home. It looked like he had his hands full there, but thanks for teaching me a trick or two with that what looked to be a leveling block for a hydraulic system underneath that jack. I thought that was pretty doggone smart of you, Mr. Monday Morning Racer. So I'll be taking that one and speedy recovery to your fifth wheel as well. I think you said there might have been a little bit of damage there. So shout out for what you do, MMR, man. Make sure you guys are following him over there. I think they'll be live later on tonight, so make sure you watch him.
Aaron Kohler over here on the YouTube side saying that he's using ChatGPT to predict his ET in mile per hour, and it was 98% accurate is what he's figuring on this stuff on predictions. Very interesting. Reggie Litch up here in the chat. Happy Veterans Day to Sarge and all the vets, and Reggie himself, obviously. Appreciate all y'all out there protecting our freedom, allowing us to race, allowing us to do this show, man. So this is you guys' day, and Reggie specifically. Great job out there at NHRA. I told him, I said, he goes, man, he said, I got Chris in the semis. I've never beat Chris. I said, not till today. And that's not taking anything away from Chris. Dude, both of those guys, I think Chris was 2 on the tree. And don't forget, these guys were sitting around for probably like literally the entire day. They might have made their last run when it was 70 degrees. And then all of a sudden it's like 45 degrees. Both of them go down there. let go of the button. Reggie's behind because he's only 11 on the tree. Chris is 002 on the tree. And you wonder why I told my dad whenever we came in the gate, I said, Chris or Reggie is getting ready to win Hot Rod. I'm telling you, it's going to be Chris, Reggie, or Donald Webb. And that's who's going to win Hot Rod. And sure enough, Chris and Reggie run each other in the semis, guaranteeing one of my picks to go to the final round. Reggie wins the whole thing. All I got to say is, if there was a betting app, we might be rich here on GBR.
Heard that, man. Hey, I heard that. No, definitely a lot to talk about and unpack. Want to shout out everybody headed out to the Fall Brawl. Looks like this is a RT Promotions race. It kind of going to kick off everything here. I can't remember off the top of my head, Casey, when the mini OG gets going out there in Gainesville. But I feel like this Fall Brawl's out there in the Florida area somewhere. RT Promotions putting it on. Not for sure if there's a live stream to this race, but 25 on Sunday, 50 on Saturday, 25 on Friday. I mean, that's a pretty nice size race, if I might say so myself. So shout out RT Promotions, throwing a race for us racers to participate in, and safe travels, everybody heading that direction. Casey, where do we start the show? I think we can start with the old adrenaline. I'm sure most anybody who's watching this show right now tuned in to the live feed from NHRA TV or Speed Sport, whichever you prefer, and got a chance to look at what was going on, man. So where do you want to start? Because I'm sure there's a lot to unpack in all the missed calls that you got from me. I was your hype man. I mean, I wish I'd have recorded it. I was going crazy in the house, man. So where you want to start, Casey? Because we got some things to discuss.
It was getting rowdy out there, man. I've never ran on national event track prep. I don't know if anybody noticed that yet. The track was good. Chevelle was trying to go to the moon and eat the wall at the same time.
Eat it up.
So,
rocket ship.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what. Well, the first one was, I mean, all of them obviously was my fault, but the very first one, the reason it was so violent was because I was like, oh man, it's top sportsman time now, and I'm usually running 450 index. I was like, I'm going to go fast now. So I deleted a line out of my timing graph and everything. And when I redid everything, I forgot to put in where the timing held itself out. So the timing drop happened, and instead of going like this, it went like this. So there was no hold it out. It was just like, okay, here we go. So needless to say, I rattled the tires. Stuck tire hard. I said, I looked at my map and I said, why would it have done that? And I looked at it and I said, oh, I'm an idiot. So I put it all back in there. Well, needless to say, go up there and said, I'm getting ready to go fast again. And stuck the tire again. That's the time that it made the replay and everything. It was serious. It got pretty rowdy out there. But so I said, great. Now I have one chance left to get in this show, which I know I can qualify for. That's what was killing me. I was like, I went too fast when it was 90 degrees outside. I went too fast for the 450 deal, and that would have got in. So I'm like, what's going on here? So I actually went and asked Mike Klein. If you saw the Christine Pro Mod, Screw Blow Pro Mod, that's Mike Klein is the old man. That's his dad. Nick Klein's dad, the guy I raced Mad Dog with in the 32 Chevy. And I went and asked Mike Klein, I said, man, I need some advice from a guy who's built tons of cars and, old school pro mod guy. I said, I need some advice. And he told me, he said, do this and this, and you'll probably be in the right realm. I said, okay, cool. So I went up there, did what he said, and went up there and went 31, which is the fastest I've ever been in that car. It does have more left in it. Couldn't give any more to it in Q3. Obviously, that was it, had to get down the track, made it down the track. I went over there. I rode the four-wheeler over there, and I told Nick, I said, where's your old man at? And I looked at him. I said, I got to give you a hug or something. I said, that's the only reason I'm in this show. And he just laughed. But yeah, man, it's learned a lot. That's what's interesting about that entire event, is that the people you're able to be around can teach you something. And as you know, better than anybody, like I just learn as I go. Just keep keep trying and keep trying things. And I don't want to be reliant on anybody. I just want to be able to kind of try to figure stuff out. And it meant as much to me just to qualify, because I didn't even think I was going to qualify, you know?
Right. Remember,
And
I kept telling you I knew you were going to get in the show. I did.
to be able to have the chance to lose first round, you got to qualify for Top Sportsman. That's what I really like about that whole class. You know, like you have to earn your right to race. You don't just get to race, you know? So pretty cool.
We got to go back though, Casey, because I feel like there's a little bit of meat left on the bone. And especially speaking, you know, from a informational podcast platform, you said you learned a lot and you'd never raced on a track that tight.
Yeah.
And the notion that you've made is that your car reacted differently. And I don't think it's a notion, it's a fact, right? Because we watched it launch twice, hard left. I mean, hard left. It just straight off the hit, you were going left. First time, straight towards the center lane. Second time, I think that was straight towards the wall, sir, and had to abort both passes. Talk to me, man, about track prep, weather, and the thought process that we probably all should be going in knowing that the track's going to be tight. You got any pointers? Because I know there's people here who might need them, including myself.
Well, the main thing, I mean, that car makes a lot more power than a lot of typical bracket cars, significantly more. But what you have to understand is what I've been learning along the way is you have a lot of tuning aids. You have wheelie bars, you have 4-link, you have anti-roll, you have launch RPM, you have timing, you have all kinds of stuff. And you need to use a little bit of everything to make stuff happen. You never want to use a lot of anything because it just binds the chassis up. And each car wants its own thing, and whatever it's doing, whatever your buddy's car is doing, your car is not his car, and his car is not your car, and your car is not anybody's anything. But basically what you need to do is here's the bottom line. If you're not willing to work on your race car, I would not have been qualified, for example, because guess what? It didn't work the first time. Changed some stuff. Didn't work the second time. What are you going to do? You got to change some stuff. It is not going to work. It is not working right now. You have to change stuff. You cannot be scared to change things on your race car just because I don't even know. Like, I don't know if the word would be scared. It's a tool at the end of the day. If it's not going down, it's not going to go down. You can't just will something into existence. You have to do something about it, and you need to be willing to try things.
Yeah, and I do think, and I know from a bracket racing stance that the cars that we race for bracket racing aren't always going to have as much power as what the old Adrenaline Chevelle had.
But the principles stand.
Right. And as it got colder out the year, we did get the chance to see, and these are more so dragsters that I'm pinpointing at the Pennington Brothers race. I've seen a lot of dragsters just smoke the tires as if they were top fuel. You know, and maybe a little bit of an adjustment to a rear shock or a little bit of something, maybe a little bit more air pressure. Who knows? Because that track, yes, it was cool, but that track had teeth now because there were cars that were running 420s. By the way, I hope to get him on the show, and I'll ask him directly, but man, we might need to have a quick 8 or a quick 16 at that race next year. There were 420 cars, 4.0 cars, 3-second cars everywhere, if it seemed like. So, but no, man, I figured I would try to get you to give a little bit more on, you know, what you learned off the track, because the track taught you something for sure. I guarantee it.
Well, I guess the number one moral of the story would be the fact that if something isn't working, it's not going to work next time. You can't, it's just not going to magically fix itself. And I think there's a lot of people that are reliant on saying, well, it worked over here. Why isn't it working here? Well, it's because that wasn't yesterday. I don't care if it worked yesterday. I don't care if you're at the same track. It's not working right now. You can't just hope it works because it's not going to. And Jared Pennington said one time, a long time ago on Sportsman Drag Racing Podcast, he said, whenever his car doesn't work, the first thing he does He doesn't complain. He doesn't start working on stuff even. He goes over to the fence and looks for cars that are similar to his. And if they're going down, then he has a problem and he needs to figure out what it is and fix it. If they are not going down, maybe it's the track. I can assure you, all of my issues were not the track. That was the best track prep I've ever been on in my entire life. If anybody said the track prep was bad that weekend, anybody would have just laughed at him because they're like, you think Scott Palmer, by the way, I don't know if you saw the GBR post, everybody listening, there's a picture of a scoreboard that I personally took from the stands, 306, 283, almost 284 miles an hour at what is now Darana Motorsports Park, not Galot, formerly known, historic. Anybody who wants to buy this hat, I'll sell it to you for a large sum of money because it's a historic artifact now.
Check this. We got a comment in the YouTube chat now that we're talking track prep. And I'm not one to spread rumors, but I did see a video today of Mass Traction looking like he was getting ready to overhaul Empire, I believe was Empire, whatever the track was named. I think it was Empire. But the rumor in the chat is that Mass Traction might be helping prep the track at Galot. I don't know the answer to that question, but there is a comment up here if you want to scroll up and find it. That's pretty neat if that's the case, and interesting to see what happens next with the track that he's overhauling right now too.
Yeah, I agree. Lots of stuff flying through the rumor mill out there, man. All of it would be great. It would be great, and I mean, ultimately, everything that people have hoped for has been provided. Every time that IHRA says something, maybe certain things get over their skis as far as releasing information, but the information has inevitably became the truth. And I've now participated in their biggest event they've had this year and to this point. And I can tell you the coolest part about this entire IHRA program, and I've raced other series divisionals and stuff like that. It seems like everybody was equals out there, and it was the coolest thing ever. And I heard from pro drivers that they thought it was cool that everybody was equals. And these are the guys who would be top tier. Like if there was anything that someone would get more than someone else, they would get it. And they thought it was cool that everybody was on the same level. Like, I don't care if you were in stock eliminator, hot rod, top sportsman, top fuel, funny car, any of that. Everybody's hanging out together, pro mod, everybody's talking. You walk over here during an oil down, I'm talking to some guy from Bubba Stanton's crew, just talking about Frankie Taylor's outlaw car, looking under it. Just, talking to Jacob McNeil on there, been on the show, got to meet him in person. That was pretty cool. Just standing by Scott Palmer's top fuel car in the staging lanes, just BSing, about whatever.
It is pretty neat though, because even when you think about it, and maybe you got a chance to partake in this too, Casey, but they provided a meal for you guys seemingly every day, I feel like. And I didn't see separations or ropes separating pros from Joes, if that's what you want to call it. It was more of everybody come in here, shoot the breeze with everybody else. You know what I mean? That's a pretty good touch, to be able for racers to be around each other is what I'm trying to get at. So awesome.
Yeah, dude. We were eating at one end of the table. Ricky Smith's eating at the other end of the table. We're all sitting next to each other. Actually sat across from a guy. Can't think of the name off the top of my head, but sitting across from a guy, and he tells his wife, he goes, "He look familiar to you?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, he shuts everything off in the shop or whatever every night, and we all watch Going Bracket Racing together, racing family over there." So that was pretty cool. So got to meet some people that are fans of the show. Always fun to see that and see the fact that people are entertained by this thing, whatever it is, whatever you want to call it, but everybody, Garage Talk, Going Bracket Racing Live, that's what we call it.
Yeah, buddy, they keep them coming, you know what I mean? But no, man, we continue, and the stands is one thing I want to point out. Casey, you were there, and as always, there's going to be a negative spin on everything that's positive, which I guess that it might as well be in the good book almost. You know what I mean, Casey? Yeah. And so things seem to be going great from the pictures that you can see. I think there's a parking lot across from where you were sitting, Casey. I don't know how you could have squeezed another car in there if you tried
Oh,
to.
you
So
couldn't have. You
break it
couldn't.
down, man. That place looked like it was super packed the way it looked.
Dude, the spectator parking lot was so full that they actually had to go to overflow parking. So anybody who says, "Oh, there's no fans," well, first of all, I would like to say that at a drag race is the one place where you are allowed to, with your spectator entry, you don't have to go sit in the stands. You don't have to sit there all day and do nothing. Dude, they had a Ferris wheel down there. You could stand at the
All
fence.
that.
You can walk through the pits. You can go talk to drivers. You can do whatever you want. So the reason the stands aren't packed at a drag race is because they don't have to be. But if the spectator parking lot is full, do you not think those stands could be packed if everybody went and stood up there? Of
Yeah.
course they could have been.
I mean, and I understand, I think I seen a comment, somebody been going for 20 something odd years. Well, heck, I've been going for 30 something odd years. And I know for a fact, whenever the pro stocks are done, I'm ready to go, unless pro stock
Yeah,
motorcycles
you
right
can go
behind them.
walk
Hey,
around.
I've seen a pro stock motorcycle, but I'm gonna go walk around, see who I can see. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And if there's a practice tree, well, I wanted to show everybody that I can let go too. You know what I mean? That's just basically what I did. You know, it was fun. But it was pretty neat to see that level of participation from a spectator side on something that just and I'm being as generous as I can be. Don't take this the wrong way if you're listening. Was just thrown together through the
Yeah.
middle of the year, and to end your year with that type of a performance from a track perspective as well as a spectator's perspective. My hat's off. I'm not taking my hat off. It's a bad hair day for me, but my hat's off to you for that, man, Casey. I don't know if you want to add anything there.
And in November too. Like, I mean, it wasn't like it was going to be the best weather. It was
Hey,
cold,
hey,
like it was a cold deal. It wasn't like it was 70 degrees and everybody wanted to be outside. Like, to have that many people, I guarantee you that's the most fans Galot Motorsports Park has ever had.
yeah,
Ever.
and I almost guarantee it too, man. That place was lit. To take my 9-year old son's language, it was lit.
Yeah.
Next thing you know,
It's
they'd be saying 6, 7,
uh-oh.
six,
I don't even
seven. What
does
is that?
anyone I was going to say,
Somebody
does
tell me
anybody
what that
actually
is.
know?
I'm
Does,
tired of
who
this junk, man. We ain't teaching
who
these kids.
invented that? And does anybody truly know what it means? Or does it
I
mean
don't,
nothing? Does it
I
not
don't know.
mean anything? I don't know.
I need to be schooled. I know that much. Cause I'm tired of hearing it every other second. Hey, what did he? He said something yesterday. He got something, and the numbers were 6, 7. Hey, I got 6, 7, and he got to see my little
Yeah.
6-year-old jumping in on it. Oh
Got
well,
two
whatever.
comments over here in the YouTube chat that are really interesting. Monday Morning Racer, best crowd I have personally ever witnessed at the venue formerly known as Galot. He's helping me out over here. Darana Motorsports Park. That's right. That's right, Lee. I get you.
Yep.
Reggie Litch, your hot rod winner, says that's what's crazy is this time last year, NHRA wasn't even a thought. And
That's
that is
correct.
very interesting.
Yep. It was this time last year where we were almost headed to PRI, where IHRA was
Yeah,
sold. So it's
right.
1 year later.
And
Like, you know
wasn't
what I mean?
supposed to be, remember? Wasn't even supposed to be.
It was, but anyway, that's where we are, and more to come because we got some tug of war to talk about. My man Tom Worthington chiming in as always says it's about marketing partnership time, and he's right. Make sure you've hit the like button, the subscribe button, the follow button if you haven't done so already. We appreciate your support. Hang in there. Let our marketing partners get a few words in your ears on the airwaves. If you're watching on TV, whatever the case you might be doing there, we will be right back. Episode 213.
When you're in need, don't settle for less. Perform Auto Parts, you've chosen the best. With all the building tools, we take the lead. It's time to upgrade your ride. We've got what you need. Carburetor scales, radiator systems. Perform Auto Parts, we got what you're looking for. Wedge locking bolts, stress up parts, roller rockers, and so much more. At Perform Auto Parts.
BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts are able to provide you with whatever you desire to enhance your drag racing operation. Items like safety belt magnets, nitrous bottle holders, and even quick release delay box mounts are able to be obtained from BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts.
Have a look at top-selling items such as helmet hooks and steering wheel hooks, which are proven to make it easier to maneuver throughout your race car. You can contact BRG Motorsports 3D printed racing parts at telephone number 765-729-1177.
All right. Hey, guess what? Welcome back. GBR, Going Bracket Racing Live, episode 213. Thanks to the marketing partners for everything that you do. Syntex Printing, Ken Jones Performance, Crew Chief Pro, Driven Racing Oil, TSR Racing Products, Proform Parts, Mid-State Dragway, BRG Motorsports 3D printed parts, Team 14 Motorsports, Gearhead Solutions, 8th Mile Apparel. Those guys over at Your Ad Here, that's Casey and George. Tell you what, two handsome young chaps. I can't believe I just said chaps. Some young guys that will do the best that they can to put your racing product in front of one of the best, if I could say so myself, being part of Going Bracket Racing communities to be a part of. And special shout out to all of our community members. Thank you for being here with GBR. If you got anything you want to get in front of them, give us an email over at goingbracketracing@gmail.com. Message the Facebook page, whatever you see fit to get in contact with us. Be more than willing to help. Casey, let's play a little tug of war, man, because that battle is getting ready to. Necessarily, I won't call it a battle. I'll just call it a tug of war. Tug of war's fun, Casey. That's why I like to use that verbiage a little bit more than battle. But let's play tug of war. NHRA has announced that near and dear to you, a NHRA national event will be happening at The Rock, back at Rockingham, Casey, a track that has taken on quite a few makeovers that we learned about. What was it? 2023 at PRI? I don't remember even when we went.
Like that.
Anyway, we got to interview him, the new owners of the place, and we knew that some things were going to be coming down the pipe as far as for preparing themselves for this opportunity. Casey, yo, talk to me about what that's going to do to North Carolina. Y'all getting it all, seemingly.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, obviously, with what NHRA is doing out here, NHRA obviously doesn't want to look at what we have to offer. Like, they want to get a piece of it too. Don't blame them. Yep. And I can tell you right now too, two of the best track owners that I have ever met are Dan and Al, who own Rockingham Dragway. We first met them at PRI. Last year, I went to test at Rockingham. Unfortunately, we got rained out. Just literally the only spot shower popped up in the entire state right there, right before Mopar's at the Rock, actually. I want to say that's what was next. There sure were a lot of Mopar's there if it wasn't. But anyway, I asked Dan, I said, the first thing I asked him, I said, will we ever see Top Fuel out here again? And he said, we are doing everything in our power. He said, NHRA gave us a list. He said, he asked, what would it take to get a national event here? And he said, NHRA gave him a list, and they were whittling away at that list. And it looks like that list must be getting checked off pretty well, man. But I can tell you right now, Rockingham Dragway, super smooth surface, probably one of the longest places, including Gateway. It might be longer than Gateway, dude. Like, I mean, we were, in fact, actually, we were there whenever my dad was here earlier in the year, and we went down the very end. I said, let's just go down to the sand trap. There's not a sand trap. There's a massive grass runoff, probably like 100, 300, I don't know, feet long. And then if you miss that, there's a huge cow pasture. So, I mean, we were looking there. We couldn't hardly see the tower. I told Dad, I said, this is probably a mile away. You could stop a fuel car probably without parachutes there going 300 mile an hour. So a lot of history at Rockingham Dragway. Obviously, that entire area, that county is huge into racing. Rockingham, the NASCAR track is right across the street there. Right. It's going to be really cool. That's all I really have to say. It's going to be interesting to see if there are any other upgrades made to the track. Not the track, the surface itself is great. Pit area maybe more so than anything. Maybe they lay some more asphalt, lay some rock out, something like that. They have plenty of space. There is there's no inadequacies as far as space goes at Rockingham Dragway. So going to be cool.
So I could totally see Rockingham being the next Stampede of Speed. Obviously, and I'm saying this is, again, I'm trying to be gracious as much as I can, not to ruffle any feathers here, but most everybody is trying to mimic the Texas Stampede of Speed. I feel like that race has put drag racing into a different atmosphere. You got concerts. You got at NHRA. You had bull riding. I ain't never seen bull riding in real life, and I live in Texas, and I need to change that. And I'm not joking, right? But man, I'm telling you right now, I'd have been all over that just because I ain't never seen it. And there's probably several people who's never seen bull riding, right? But you had bull riding, you had a Ferris wheel, you had a band playing during oil down. Okay, that's
dude. And let me tell you about that real quick.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about that real quick. So at the IHRA event, my wife and I were sitting at the 3:30, and Doug Foley, I'm sure everybody saw the highlights. Doug Foley Sr., something crazy happened. I mean, I don't even think it was shaking or spinning or anything. It just 90 degreed into the wall. And it actually blew up when it hit the wall. So it must have ruptured a fuel cell or like knocked a head off or something like that. But it didn't blow up before it hit the wall, it blew up when it hit the wall. Which that's top fuel car. It's common. It's not like that's really not a big deal for a fuel car to blow up. But when that happened, directly across the track, there was a band, a live band. And that anytime there was any sort of intermission, here we got a concert now. Now we're playing a concert. And they're playing good. Like the dude was good. I wish I would have known the band name because I'd shout him out on here. But the guitarist specifically, super, super good guitarist. I mean, I sent you whenever he was playing John Mayer because I know you're a blues guy.
Oh, it's time you answer the doggone phone. I'm like, oh, Casey, boy, you finally texted me. It's music.
Yeah, and that wasn't the best part. Like, he was better after and before that. I was just like, before that, I was like, dude, I got to send this to George. And then, of course, all the good stuff happened after that. But they played like blues music, country music, rock music. I think some personal music that they played, more of like a rockish, like Blackstone Cherry type thing. But dude, the entertainment never stopped, which made it seem like we're not just tractor racing out here and dropping kitty litter down and then scraping the track and then, tire rotating and all this stuff. We got a band playing the entire time. So people never left. They stayed in the stands. And that's the name of the game, is getting people to stay not bored. I don't know why it took an organization so long to figure this out.
Well, I think NHRA did it first, and that's to my point. And everybody the thought process to begin to pay attention to detail like that and pay attention to, well, what is the viewer or what are our fans going to do during this hour, maybe 45-minute down period, besides just walk in the pits and walk around and then have to make their way back. Well, what if they're tired? Well, if we get some music going, or if we get this Ferris wheel going so the kids can go up and down and up and down,
right?
Or a bounce house over here. Pennington Brothers has bounce houses over at their places, and so do the Flicker guys. You know what I'm saying? But people are beginning to think, how can I entertain my crowd while they're there to watch drag racing? If you remember, Casey, way back when, I don't know how far in the episodes, we always talked about having a fair and then a drag race breakout. Like your county fair is going on, and then they hear a loud car over there, and everybody's like, well, what the heck is that? And everybody takes a break and go drag racing.
They're running again. Yeah.
So it's that, man. And I feel like NHRA's Stampede of Speed, of course, it's in the great state of Texas, right? But I feel like that race made people open their eyes up. I also feel like Rockingham, of all places, and with people that are as charismatic as the owners of Rockingham Dragway, you could very well see that level of a racing event at the Rock.
And remember, Rockingham, one of the smartest things, another idea that we kept always talking about, and obviously it's easier said than done because of liquor licenses and things like that, but Rockingham Dragway, sports bar on site. That was in the very, very early episodes of GBR. Like, I'm talking like first 10, 20 episodes. We talked about how smart it would be to put a sports bar on site. In fact, I want to say that was because we figured out Gateway had one.
Had one, yep.
And we're like, dude, if you could go there, go to a restaurant, watch racing. Whenever we were in our 20s, we would have done that every single week. Every
yeah.
single week we would have went there because we always went to a sports bar with all of our friends. We rode
Right.
motorcycles there, and we all just sat there and just hung out. And we would have done that at that racetrack every single weekend. So there are so many ways. You just need to entice people to come. Once they come, a lot of them aren't going to not come again. So if you
Yeah.
could just keep people there and keep people entertained, that is what the sport is lacking now.
Yep.
They need to have entertainment. And the reason, again, it always goes back to this. Once a month, we talk about this. The reason Street Outlaws was such a big hit and brought so many, dude, I mean, there was a bunch of them there this weekend whenever I was there.
I counted 4.
I was just talking to Dad about this in the shop earlier. Everybody can say what they want. People can like or dislike Street Outlaws. There was nobody. In fact, we were talking actually while I was filling my truck up at the world's slowest diesel pump earlier today. We were sitting here talking, and I said, people can say whatever they want, but I said nobody under my age range was going to start drag racing until Street Outlaws showed up, and that's a fact.
Yep. Hey, man, and it's just the way it's happening. Everybody who's making comments in the chat right now, for instance, Austin Day says, bring the Midway back. And I know exactly what he's talking about because I remember going to Midway at U.S. Nationals and it being just like breathtaking. All the manufactured parts, all the t-shirts, all this stuff is just like right there. Everything's right there. Bring Midway back like it used to be in the early 2000s, and stories I've heard of the 90s. And I'm mentioning the 90s myself, you know.
We were
But
there.
it's podcast, going bracket racing. Hey guys, hey. We talk about more than going bracket racing. You know, we talk about it all, but bringing this out in a podcast format, people are listening. It doesn't matter how you shape it. Social media has the great ability to get into the ears or eyes of everybody if done correctly. So thank you, Austin Dave, for your comment, and keep them coming because everybody's listening. I'm actually enjoying tug of war. Like I hope I'm in the middle, the guy with that's holding the tape and saying go, and standing back and watching to see which way it goes, which way. I'm sitting back because that's what I want to see in this sport. And if that happens, everybody hang on to your seat because we're gonna have a lot of fun these coming years.
Right. And if anything, what is going to happen ultimately, at least in North Carolina for sure, because there's a stronghold now because Rockingham Dragway, tons and tons and tons of history there. I mean, realistically, the only more historical place that I could even think of that would be in this area would be Darlington. Between Darlington and Rockingham, those are the two most historic facilities in the Southeast as far as what's happened there over the years since the 70s, 60s, whatever it is. Both of them have major NASCAR tracks. Both of them have major drag strips. Tons of stuff's going on there. It's cool just to be there. Like you can almost feel it just being there, knowing what has been and what will be. Because if you can get NHRA and IHRA competing again, dude, it's going to be awesome because it's going to be a hype man over here. It's going to be a hype man over here. It's going to be, we offer this, we offer that. We're going to offer this even bigger than that. And we're going to offer this even bigger than that. And it's going to just blow up into this huge thing. And no one was ever going to dump this kind of money or if there was only one organization.
Brain power.
Yeah. And I don't care what it is. I don't care what organization it is. I don't care if it was a big money bracket racing. I don't care if it was PDRA, IHRA, NHRA. If there's only one, they don't have to try this hard because they don't have to compete. They already got everybody. But now they're going to have to compete, and it is going to be great in 2026. I mean, 2026 is probably going to be the best year that drag racing has had since probably the 90s, since the Winston days.
I was going to say 30 years. Heck, they ain't been back to the Rock since the Winston days anyway, if I'm not wrong. But one thing I always do here, guys, is to make sure that everybody knows going bracket racing, we love both sides of the spectrum, from the NHRA racers to the IHRA racers to the whatever racing sanctioning body is out there that is giving us a place to go race our cars. We are on board with what you are doing. But I will say, a little bit of healthy competition ain't never hurt nobody. And take it just like that, because it hasn't. Anything that you get competition-wise will only drive you to be a better version of what you're trying to be in the first place. So, let the games begin. Ready, set, go. Tug of war,
Yep.
tug of war. Everybody have fun. Talk to each other on the way. This doesn't have to be a battle of love hate. Don't got to be that. Have fun. This is about drag racing, man. That's all I got. That's all.
Yeah, man. Old racer in here. This is why I love GBR. No bias. I mean, we try to keep it that way, man. I mean, ultimately, we'll give our opinions on everything, especially George. You know what I'm talking about, Nova
You
fan.
said it the whole
But,
stream.
but ultimately,
Oh, man.
man, we just want to race. That's our big deal. We just want to race. I'll go wherever it is. I don't care if it's close to my house and it's an event that I can make. I'm going racing. I'll race for a trophy, and I'll race for a lot of money as long as everything makes sense. That's all I care about. I want to go racing. You know.
Yep. No, man, and that's the name of the game, man. And so I'm looking forward to it. I wish I was going to PRI this year. I just feel like there is going to be a lot happening at PRI this year. If you're lucky enough to have gotten a room, because I'm pretty sure if you don't have a room right now, well,
you better
ain't
get a
going.
good tent,
You
insulated.
better have a couple of good friends, or rent a Astro van and sleep in that joker or something, a Sprinter and sleep in it. That's about all you got going, you know. But shouts out to everybody going to PRI because I have a feeling it is going to be extremely eventful. And kind of mad I didn't get my ticket. That's what I'm mad about. I should have went, but whatever. Casey, man, I don't know what else to say besides I'm excited. If you guys can't tell, being in the sport right now is real entertaining to me. Next year, I think you'll see 10 Street Outlaws become NHRA Pro Mod drivers, as I think I just saw Justin Stronstrom roll out his Corvette that's going to be most likely participating in NHRA Pro Mod. You know, Kai Kelly just got a new Pro Mod done by Larry Jeffers Race Cars, which, go figure, just those things that I wanted and expected. So did you, Casey. And those things are starting to happen, and this is going to get interesting really fast, man. Really fast.
Yeah, and that pro mod category, dude, I was talking about this earlier today too. And you know, there are obviously less fuel cars at the IHRA events versus the NHRA events. NHRA a lot of times also doesn't necessarily fill the field. They sometimes have 12, 14 fuel cars, stuff like that. IHRA added fuel altereds, which is cool. And to be honest with you, I didn't miss them having a 16-car field. I thought it was cool to have an 8-car field because ultimately you want to see nitro if you're at an event like that. Like even me, a guy who's seen it a lot, there's nothing like it. It's always awesome. You want it to shake your eyeballs, shake your whole body, everything like that, make you wonder how those guys even see where they're going or know where they're going. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But ultimately, I kind of think that the 8-car field is fine. I mean, I didn't miss anything. There's less oil downs because those cars blow up all the time. You know, there's less craziness involved, and you still get to see it. I wonder if that'll be the way of the future to have 8-car fields because there's not a lot of people that can afford those cars anyway. And an 8-car field is a lot more competitive because when you have a 16-car field of fuel cars, number 1 is way up here and number 16 is way over here. They're not right next to each other. But when you have 8, for example, Mountain Motor Pro Stock, great example. Mountain Motor Pro Stock, you had 20 or 23 cars going for an 8-car field. Dude, the last session of qualifying, which they only have 2 of those, the last session of qualifying, it was like there was a pretty big spread between number 1 and number 8. And then all of a sudden the spread gets smaller. And now it's harder to get in. Now the spread gets smaller. Dude, it was super exciting. Like most people don't sit there and watch Pro Stock. They only care about fuel. Dude, no one left the stands because someone came up and then the bump was 412. And then the bump was 410. And then it was 408. You know, it's like, maybe it wasn't 408, but everybody went 408, it felt like, at the last.
It's highly entertaining is why people didn't leave the stands. And Casey, you bring up a good point. With 8 cars, that means you can put in more classes, and we kind of questioned this in the very beginning from outside looking in here and kind of not understanding how everything was going to work. So many classes were on that list in the very beginning, and it being a double race. Well, obviously, we're seeing that with a little bit of thought process, you can pull it off. I know a lot of people like that stick shift gear, or stick shift class. I seen I don't know how many posts about, hey, these stick shift cars are pretty neat. I know that eventually we're going to see even more stuff. I think there's a small tire class that the Stinky Pinky
Yes,
himself mentioned
10.5.
that maybe, yeah. So there's a lot of stuff happening, y'all, and it is what it is. I hope, again, I hope that a lot of these things crossover from sanctioning body to sanctioning body. And I definitely agree with Barnes' comment here on YouTube. I hope the big money teams stay away from IHRA. I really, really hope that money doesn't wind up being what buys
Well,
wins at IHRA. It has. I want it to be skill set based.
and
You know what I mean?
I see Barnes' comment and Austin Day's comment, and obviously you just mentioned Barnes saying the big money teams. Austin Day says, I kind of like watching Top Fuel and Funny Car to the 8th mile. And those two comments go together because where the money matters, those fuel cars aren't even fully applying the clutch until after 8th mile. And if you noticed, none of those cars fully, like I said, he blew up when he hit the wall. None of those cars really like blew up, like exploded like crazy. And because of that, that shows right there that they don't have to push it that hard to do that kind of stuff. I mean, Palmer went 306. What's the record for Top Fuel? It's like 290 something. So I mean, he's not off the pace that far from the NHRA 8th mile record. And what's cool about that is it makes everything exciting because the money buys 8th mile to quarter mile. The money, like it's not cheap, obviously, to run that type of stuff, but where the money really shines is from 8th mile to quarter mile. And that's in every class, all of the classes, because I mean, it's just the car that was in the finals for Pro Stock, I'm 99% certain that was home built. That was a home built Mountain Motor Pro Stock car in the finals with a big time Mountain Motor Pro Stock car.
Yep.
That would not have happened if it was a quarter mile show, probably.
Yep. No, and we kind of got to get over that too. And this is a separate subject in itself, or maybe one for another show if you can remember it though, Casey. It's almost worse than prep versus no prep. The whole idea of 8th mile versus quarter mile racing. I mean, geez, guys, it's still a race car going down a racetrack at a really, really fast pace. So I can care less if it's quarter mile or 8th mile. I know you get a little bit longer to react in quarter mile because, hey, it's longer. And you got to be on your P's and Q's on the 8th. But regardless, I want to do it. So, man, we got to stop it with that argument. You know what I mean, Casey? That's almost, it ain't worse than LeBron Jordan. But anyway, we keep going. Skip that.
No, well, first of all, you can't run quarter mile at Galot because it's not a quarter mile track. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, ultimately, would you rather see 6 cars racing quarter mile, or would you rather see 12 fuel funny cars trying to run 8th mile to get in an 8-car field? And guess what? Creasy went 277 mile an hour like 2 times.
Right.
I mean, 270 something mile an hour. He had the record for a couple times until Palmer finally went and laid one out.
And sponsored by PBR. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty dope too.
Yeah.
I didn't think PBR would ever get into drag racing, but that's pretty neat, man. You know what I mean? And
2 cars were sponsored by PBR.
Yeah. So I don't know what we got left for today, man. Besides, let the tug of war begin. Tug of war, y'all. Have fun with it. It doesn't have to be. Let's make enemies all the time. Don't got to be that.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just provide a better service, and people will go where they want to go. But ultimately, what you want more than anything, I would even venture to say more so than more drivers, is you want more fans.
That's right. That's right.
And if you're going to get more fans, you need more entertainment. I saw Barnes say something earlier about entertainment, and that is what it is. That's the name of the game. How are you going to entertain these people? How are you going to provide them a service that makes them want to spend money with you? And the organizations are currently, in my opinion, IHRA is leading the charge on that, and that is going to force NHRA to do it. And I think NHRA is going to do a great job in 2026 as well. So it's going to be great for us. Everybody watching this show right now, obviously you're interested in drag racing. I don't care what form it is. We talk about all of it here, but 2026 is going to be the best year for drag racing,
period,
as far as I can tell.
And
Yeah,
of course, I
everybody.
have to do this, man, because I really think it's necessary. I really think, again, that a lot of people listen in these podcasts. They make their way on a lot of people's desks that you might not realize to wind up on.
Mhm.
Don't forget about the little guys as NHRA and IHRA as you begin to build your big following, your go-to, your bread and butter. Don't forget about those little guys because those bracket guys and those sportsman racers and street classes and man, those are your next cream of the crop. So don't forget about the little guys either. I'm a little guy. I bracket race. I got a little S10. If anybody want to drive it, Darana man, come drive my S10, man. You can drive it. I'll let you drive it. Darana man probably don't know who he is, but I call him Darana man because I like it.
Barn. We'll just
Barn.
end it with this. Barn. The good old days is now.
I'm with it. I'm with it. And make sure you come and join us again. Episode 214 will be coming to you before too long. I'm pretty sure it'll be next week. Going to try to get a guest on, I think, Casey, if we can. Not for sure how busy the schedule is, but I know exactly what's happening because I've learned that the mini million is not this week, it's the next week. So it might be hard to get a guest, but I'm going to try my best to get us one on here and talk to us a little about what they're doing for the sport. But on behalf of Going Bracket Racing, myself, George, him, Casey, thanks for joining us, and we will see you guys next Tuesday. Hang in there.